Hi, everyone. This is Paul Casey, the Kempo Karate Hall of Fame educational video series, where we talk about Kempo principles, concepts, sometimes techniques, theories, and history. Remember, Kempo Karate derived from a wonderful state, probably the greatest state in the United States, which is Hawaii. And I am very lucky to have today one of the most important people in my world. She is an incredible human being. That's her greatest asset. Nicest person in the world, but she's a warrior. She is a grandmaster in Kajukenbo. Would you please welcome to the show Grandmaster Kailani Koa? Hello, Grandmaster Kai. How are you?
Mai ka'i, aloha kakahiaka. I olelo Hawaii. I speak Hawaiian, so I just want to greet you in my tongue language. I'm doing mai ka'i. That means I'm good. Aloha kakahiaka means good morning. And I have to ho'oma'ama olelo Hawaii because I speak Hawaiian. That's
Wonderful.
what's so good about Kajukenbo. And Kempo, it started in Hawaii.
Yes, it did. And you're going to take us through that. Now,
Yes.
I want people to know who you are first. And that's really important. So why don't we start with you, and you can tell us a little bit how you got into the martial arts, why you chose the art you're in, and how it has impacted. You can just give us a brief scenario on that. So talk to us.
Okay. I'm going to start from when I was 3 years old. My father was a Shotokan man, and he told my mother that whoever was born first, that I would learn martial arts. Well, guess what? I was the first. I was a female. So my father put me into judo first. Then I studied under Kenneth Funakoshi. He is the founder of Shotokan. So I took martial arts when I was 3. I could comprehend at 4. At 5 years old, I was already competing in Shotokan. And what happened was I used to enter many tournaments in Shotokan, and I would win all the time. And I was the first girl that fought boys in a Shotokan tournament. So what happened was I went to black belt with Shotokan. Kenneth Funakoshi, he's the founder, his grandpa is the founder of Shotokan. Then I took from his son, which is Kenneth Funakoshi, who's still living till today. He's in Europe right now. And I trained with his son, Kenneth Funakoshi's son, which is Kevin Funakoshi, but he was, I think, about 2 years younger. So they used to watch out for me because I was the only girl that would beat up boys. I'm a tough cookie, to be honest. And it's only because of the grace of God. Only God could make me. And my real name in Olelo, Hawaii, in our family, is Kawahine Koa, which means woman warrior. How's that? So what happened was, so I went to my instructor, Shotokan, would take me to all these open tournaments. And all of a sudden, I went to this one tournament at YMCA. I think it was like 9 or 10 years old. Was all Kempo. Was all Kempo. Was all Kempo at that time. So what they did was they put me last. Grandmaster Paul, they put me way at the end. I was the last competitor because I was a girl. Well, guess what? By the grace of God, I won first place at a Kempo tournament because it was Kempo. Okay. Then all of a sudden, I got to be friends with all these, Chinese Kempo, Kajukenbo. And I went to school, and one of the boys said, "Hey, didn't you compete in YMCA?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "But I had a Waiki, I was Shotokan." I said, "Yes." And I said, "You know what?" I said in Hawaiian, Olelo Hawaii Pigeon. Poor thing you put me last because I won first place. That was it. We became best friends. I didn't know who they were, but we became friends because they were telling everybody in school, you got to watch out for that wahine, da da da. So that's how it kind of started. Then I went to Chinese Kempo with Martin Buell, who was underneath Professor Walter Godin. So my mom goes, "Okay, I'm going to put you in Chinese Kempo," because she went to school with Martin Buell. Until today, I still talk to him. And then I became very close to Professor Walter Godin. So professor at that time, we didn't have grandmasters. We only had professors. That was it. There was no grandmasters, nothing. So my mom said, "You're gonna take from my classmate, Martin Pure. He's very famous. He's still living. He carried Cedro Imperado's coffin in Oahu. He used to be Cedro Imperado's Puki. Puki means dummy. Like when Cedro would do a technique, he was the one that Cedro Imperado is beating up. Okay. So I took from him maybe about a couple months because I wanted to learn something more than Shotokan. Shotokan was great for me as a good foundation, basics was all good, but I wanted to learn self-defense. So my mom took me there. I was in Martin for maybe about a couple months. Then my mom said, "You're gonna learn from Uncle Abe Kamahoahoa." We call him Brother Abe Kamahoahoa. That is my mom's ohana. He's also related to the Parkers and the Purdy's and the Lindsays, very big family. Ed Parker is also related to that uncle. So my uncle couldn't speak. He couldn't ulelo, speak because he was put in a canoe, and while he went to the island of Oahu, he lost his speaking impaired and he couldn't hear. But guess what? He became Cedro Imperado's first 9th-degree black belt in Kajukenbo. So I told my mom, "How am I going to understand uncle?" And she said, "You're going to get ma'a." And Olalopa'i, ma'a means used to. So guess what? I trained with my uncle. I believe I was 9 years old, and I was very close to my uncle. Ed Parker Sr. and my uncle were very close because we are Parker, Purdy, and Lindsay. And all of a sudden, I went to my uncle's house. I used to train with him, but I used to stay at his house also in Waianae. Waianae back in the day was like, how would I say? That was like the hood. That was like going to Compton. That was like going to Compton. But you think Compton was famous? No. Waianae. So I started my art in Waianae. Now, guess what? I was only 9. We're sitting at the dinner table, and Cedro Imperado was asking my uncle for money. Kala means money. So I go to my auntie, who's my uncle's wife. I go, "Anake, how come that guy asking uncle for money?" She goes, "Kule kule waha." That means like, don't say anything, close your mouth. Like it really means shut up. Okay.
Yes.
I was pretty nice. So I sat there, and then after that, we trained the next day. So I told my anakala, which means uncle, I said, "Uncle, why he ask you for money? If he's the founder of Kajukenbo," because I only was 9. I was only, why is this guy asking my uncle for money? So my uncle would speak like this, So I got to that. I could understand that. My uncle was really telling me that Cedro Imperado was the founder of Kajukenbo. Now, my uncle was still with Professor Chow. He wasn't with Cedro, but he took care of Cedro. Cedro was kind of like a Manawala boy. Manawala means you live here, you live here, you live here, all over, and you just kind of like a leech, to be honest. And I'm not afraid to say that because that's the truth. And so what happened was my uncle told me in his language, Cedro Imperado what created Kajukenbo, which he got 4 other guys. Yeah, Uncle Frank, Ordonez, Joho, Peter Chu, and Clarence Chang. Clarence Chang is the one that wrote the prayer. It's a Kajukenbo Christian prayer. So every time before class and after, we'd say the prayer. Because my Uncle Abe believed in Keakua. I will say it to you, and it's really a good prayer. It's Almighty and eternal God, protect them all who put their trust in thee. Bless our efforts in these exercises, whose sole purpose is developing our bodies. Give us some command. It really talks about Kajukenbo is an art that was created for self-defense, but the glory goes to Jesus. And we are Christians. We were really made Christians. We're not Catholic, we're not Mormon, we're not Jehovah, we're Christian. And there's a Christian principle that was written by Uncle Frank Ordonez.
For those that don't know, you're a little bit of your background. You're an ordained minister, are you not?
I am an evangelist preacher.
A preacher. Okay, there it is.
Yeah, I'm an evangelist preacher. Anybody can be an evangelist preacher, but the thing is, do you do it?
Mm.
You do it. Because you know what? When I got saved, God totally showed up. And if it wasn't for him, I'd be honest, I'd be in jail. I'd be in jail. But I preach in the prison. I preach in the prison. I do security ministry. I do hula ministry. I do transfer. I do whatever. So wherever I go, Grandmaster Paul, I'll be honest with you. My first job is to get as much souls in heaven. Because heaven is made for us, not hell. So I'm not afraid to preach God's gospel, and I really don't care. Because that's
You know
my
what's
job.
most interesting about you? You are so spiritual. I met you at recently an event that was hosted by Eric Lee, and I got to tell you, the energy that flows from you is so positive, so wholesome, and it genuinely touches one, and you have that. And I was also privy to see you perform the hula to your brother's song, and we'll get
Yes.
into that in a little bit. So let's continue on. So you're training now. You go into Kajukenbo, and you're training there. Take us through that process and where you're at with it.
Okay, let me explain our genealogy like how you did. Okay. So what happened was, so I went to Mountain View, Beth went to Uncle Abe. Uncle Abe was still with Professor Chow. C. Joe pretty much begged him, Brother Abe, join me, join me. And guess what my uncle said? Aole means no. Until Professor Chow passed away, because my uncle honored Professor Chow. From Matosi, Professor Chow, and from Professor Chow went to Brother Abe. When he passed away, then guess what? My uncle, Brother Abe, who I still represent today, because of him, that's why I am Kajukenbo, went to Sijo and Porado. And that's how I started Kajukenbo, because I was Kempo first. So when my uncle went to Sijo, guess what? In 1977, by the grace of God, my uncle, Brother Abe, became Kajukenbo's first ninth degree in Kajukenbo in 1977. So what happened was, this is my uncle, Brother Abe. This is Tito and Pomano. When my uncle joined him, my uncle was a big man. He was like 6'8", 350, big. Back in the day, Hawaii was big. And then this is my brother, who I lost, Professor Ayal Kaur, and this is me. This is us in Arizona. I tell us about everyone here is gone, except me. I'm the only one here. So guess what happened? So I traveled with CJ all over the world. I became his caregiver, attorney, security, whatever he called me. We did a lot of good things together. Then we went to New York. I have a school in New York. Okay. So what happened goes, so I'm, pushing, me and my brother is his bodyguard. It was me, my brother, Professor Ayal, Grandmaster DG, who's CJ Parada's sister. I was very close to her, very close. I very close. I told her the hula, she loved the hula, she loved the Olela Hawaii. So we go to New York. My brother blows the karikapu. It's a shell that you blow to get everybody's attention. And I think next time I'm going to do that. Remember when I went to LA?
Yes.
And I was telling everybody to kuli kuli waha?
Yes.
Well, guess what? If my brother was there, he would blow that shell and everybody would kind of kuli kuli. So we go to New York. So CJ goes to me. CJ was like my father. He was like my grandpa. He was like everything. I mean, I was his caregiver, power of attorney. When I lost him, it was very sad for me. Me and my brother did his funeral here in Maui. People from all over the world came. Then I took his body to Oahu, and we had another funeral. So we go to New York. Look at this, Paul. So we go to New York. My brother, myself, Grandmaster DG, she's a tough cookie. That's Tijo Eprado's sister. Now, she died after my brother died, okay? And then Tijo Eprado. So we go over there. My brother's blowing the shell. So everybody, of course, everybody went, kind of look like, oh my God, what's going on? It's a luau. My brother blows a shell. I walk in with Tijo in wheelchair with a leg. I have pictures of all of this. And CJ goes, so we walk around, you know, he's doing his entourage thing because he gets CJ in Toronto. So we sit down and he goes like this, you're competing. Telling me this. I said, CJ, I didn't come here to compete. I came here to enjoy myself and just hang out with you and Auntie DJ, Grandmaster DJ. He goes, no, I want you to compete. Well, anyway, guess what? I go to my brother. My brother's big Hawaiian. He's like my Uncle Abe. I go, Ayao. I think he was like a third degree. I said, you're competing. He goes, what? I said, if I'm competing, you're competing. Guess what happened? By God's grace, we took first place.
Congratulations.
Tijo was so proud because you know why? We're the only two from Hawaii. Everybody was off on the mainland, wherever. CJ was so proud of us. He was very proud of me and my brother because of who he was representing him and
Right.
Brother Abe. He's very close to my uncle. He was like peanut butter and jelly. He was so proud of me and my brother that we came from Hawaii, Maui, to go there, compete, represent Brother Abe, and represent him, Kajukenbo. And guess what? Nobody wanted to fight us. Nobody. So by God's grace, we entered self-defense division. That means that we did tricks, self-defense. Someone attack us, we, knock them out, good say in Hawaiian. So guess what? We both won first place. Me and my brother we were very, what would I say? Kupai anaha. Kupai anaha means we're so amazing in the techniques that we did that we go there all the time to teach seminars. Because I travel all over the world. I've been to London. I've been to Portugal. I've been to Puerto Rico. I've been all over the world to teach my art, which is Kajukenbo art self-defense. So I'm home for a week, and then I go to Boston. I'm teaching there again. Last year, I went there to honor my brother because he was supposed to teach. So Grandmaster Paul Cerezo said, Grandmaster Kai, can you come in place of your brother and teach? I said, of course. I went there. It was amazing. Kathy Long was there. Aldi Costos was there. You know, all these big people was there. But guess what? Jesus was there. Yeah, I taught 5 seminars. And everybody knows my brother. He was a heart of gold. There's nobody like my brother. So they asked if I would bring some shirts. So I got shirts of my brother that he made and I made. Guess what? So Grandmaster said, Kai, can you bring some of your brother's shirts? Of course. So guess what? I brought 100 shirts. Kathy Long is next to me selling her shirts. I sold more shirts than her. She goes, who was your brother? I said, he was Professor Ayao Cole. And he was the most amazing brother I had. So guess what? I'm going to see her again. On the 23rd, I go to Boston. I'm going to be with her and see with Aldi Costos.
Are you going to bring more shirts?
Which one?
I don't know.
This is I'm bringing shirts that I brought last year, and then I'm bringing shirts with his picture on it. My brother has an amazing picture that everybody that sees it. I was working at the airport. A fireman goes, hey, do you know officer? Because he's an officer. Listen to this. I got to tell you this. My brother was an officer for the harbor policemen. Cijo Imperato was an officer for the harbor Division 2 in Oahu. So when I came to Maui, I took Cijo Imperato's ashes. I threw it in the harbors where my brother worked. Well, guess what? When my brother passed away, we scattered his ashes also in the harbors with Cijo. Amazing.
It is.
Okay, so
I have some questions for you now because I know our viewers are going to be listening to this. And right now, there's some you shared with me when we were in California. You shared with some of the things about you. I know how you are so passionate and you like to talk about the art and you like to talk about the people. And you talk a little bit about you, but not that much. So there's some accomplishments there. See, folks, this is one of the most beautiful people you will meet. Grandmaster Kai is genuine. She really is. And
thank you.
She's also recognized by the community that she works with in the Kajukenbo. I want you to tell them a little bit about one of the accomplishments that the chief council gave to you.
Well,
Do you want to talk about that? I hope you do.
yeah, I will. Let me tell you, I've been very blessed. I have to do this. I've been blessed with many gifts, many. You know, first of all, I am a evangelist preacher. That's the most important thing to me. Number two, I am a grandmaster in Kajukenbo. So I do take care of Maui, Molokai, and Lanai because we have 8 islands. But the county of Maui, we have 3 islands. Okay. And I have school in every island. And then I'm also a professional hula dancer. My brother played music, gosh, for a very famous entertainer. His name is Kelly Iwershell for 30 years, Toshin Gichape. And he also plays for Kailani, who they just won the Grammy also, his 3rd Grammy. The song that you heard in LA, my brother helped write the song and arrange it. My brother passed away. 3 days later, was nominated for the Grammy. And guess what? It won the Grammy. So I am a evangelist preacher. I teach Olelo Hawaii. I speak Hawaiian. When I went to London, this guy goes, "Well, what's so Hawaiian about your Kajukenbo?" I said, "Oh, you're gonna take me there? Well, guess what? I am from Hawaii. I'm from Maui. I Olelo Hawaii. I speak Hawaiian." And my brother also was with me too. And I told him a lot of stuff about why my Kajukenbo is Hawaiian. And he kind of looked at me and he didn't say anything after that. So I'm a evangelist preacher. I teach, I'm a Olelo Hawaii, I speak Hawaiian. I ho'oma ama Olelo Hawaii. I'm a hula dancer. I preach in the prison. I do security ministry for my church, for my pastor. Because pastors need security. Somebody go, "Why does your pastor need security?" I said, "Why does Beyonce need a security?" My pastor needs a security because he preached God's word. I do the prison ministry, hula ministry, security ministry, transformation ministry. I also work at the airport. I've been working at the airport since for 43 years. I've done everything. Greeting service, supervised greeting service, open every car rental in Maui. I work for every airline. I have so many gifts that really God gave it to me. I just asked. And I said, "Lord, I want to go to London." I went to London. I taught Kajukenbo with my brother. "Lord, I want to go to Japan." I went to Japan, preach his word and teach hula. "Lord, I want to school in New York." I got a school in New York. "Lord, I want a school in Florida." I got a school in Florida. "Lord, I want a school on Maui, Lanai, and Molokai." I got all those schools. Everything. I have a school in Baghdad. Who the heck has a school in Baghdad?
You do.
And I told you,
Yeah, but you glossed over what I wanted you to talk about. You received a very, very, very special honor from the chief council and who you are from them because you were a woman and they gave you the highest ranking and representation.
You know what's so funny? That was definitely God, because I told my dad, because he passed away. My dad was only 45. He passed away.
I'm sorry.
And before he passed, he said, "Dad, when I become a black belt, I'm done. I'm done. I quit. I don't want to do any martial art." Anyway, I went all the way up to Grandmaster, 9th degree. By the grace of God, the board of advisor, because CJ made a board advisor here in Maui first, okay? My uncle, Grandmaster George Ka'anana, was the only had 2 senior grandmasters. One was Uncle Joe Habuna, who I taught for in San Francisco, went to Ed Parker's tournament with him, and that's how I got to see my cousin Ed Parker Sr. because of him. And then when he passed away, my uncle, which is also related to Ed Parker Sr., became CJO's 2nd senior grandmaster. His name was Senior Grandmaster George Ka'anana. He was the most humble man. And CJ said, "I got to pick somebody from Hawaii. I can get all these people to be on my board, but I got to have somebody from Hawaii." I guess that was my uncle. So what happened was I got promoted 2017 to Grandmaster, and it was here at my church. I had the best entertainers. My cousin Willie K, my cousin I just had the best interview there. Then all of a sudden, the board of advisors go, Kai, because you took a Cedro Imperato. I mean, I did everything. Changed his pamper, bathed him, and we did some Kolohe stuff. Kolohe means rascal. He said, we're going to give you the belt of Grandmaster, but the board of advisors. So guess what? Nobody has this belt except the board of advisor and Grandmaster Kailani Koa. You see
Wow.
it?
Look at you.
CWBOA. I'm the only one. I said, really? I go, you guys don't have to do that. Don't have to do that. They said, no, because you know why? You were so close to Joe that we're gonna honor you. They didn't have to do that. So they gave me this, Grandmaster. But you know what? This is an honor.
Yes.
And then I got inducted in the Hall of Fame in Dallas. I got inducted in the Hall of Fame in California. I received my Uncle Brother Abe's award because I became the ambassador for the Hall of Fame. So the lady goes, Kai, we want you to be an ambassador and induct all the people from Hawaii because she didn't know. So I inducted Cedro Imperato. I inducted Joe Imperato. I inducted Grandmaster Chow. I inducted my Uncle Brother Abe. So I did receive one of Cedro's award for the Hall of Fame. I did receive the Hall of Fame for Professor Chow. Who the heck gets that? I did. And then I received 2 or 3 Hall of Fame awards for myself. And then one for my brother, for me and my brother.
Wow.
So
that is impressive.
you're in
Thank
trouble
you
with
so
me.
much for sharing that with us. It goes to your character. And I'm, like I said, when I met you, you're just genuine. You're more interested in talking. You didn't talk about briefly a little bit of things, but not a lot. And I had to drag it out of you, which wasn't, just a kind, it's just a good person you are. Let us talk about your relationship with the Parkers. Is that okay with you?
Okay. Well, what happened was I was young and my mom said, because my mom, listen to this, just so happened, Ed Parker Sr., his wife's name, which is my Anake, my auntie, her name is Leilani Parker. Well, guess what? My mom's name is Leilani Parker too.
Wow.
So my mom goes, you got an uncle, Alakala, that is pretty famous. He was Elvis Presley's bodyguard. He taught him martial arts. He's the one who introduced Lee at his international tournament. So my mom told me all of that. And I said, well, you know what, Mom? I'm sure I said, this is what I told my mom. I'm sure one day I'll meet him. Well, guess what? I met him. Um, it was Professor. Back then, they didn't have no grandmasters. Professor Joe Hupple. I was teaching for him in San Francisco. And he goes, well, I really want to go to Ed Parker's tournament international. I said, okay, well, let's go. So me and he was our only senior grandmaster at that time. So we went to the international tournament. Okay. And so I was, checking it out. And then I saw Ed Parker Sr. He doesn't know who I am. Okay. I don't know who he is. So I'm not shamed. People come home. My mom always told me, never be shamed. So I went up to him. I said, hey, Mr. Parker, I am Ohana to you. And he knew what that is. He goes, really? I said, my mother's a Parker, a Lindsay, and that was it. That was it. That was it. We took pictures. He treated me like a queen. I told him who my mother was. I told him who Brother Abe was. That was it. When I talk about Uncle Abe, that was it. I was like a queen over there. His daughter Sherry. He said, you go hang with her, and she'll take it. And you know what? I'll be honest. I was the queen over there. And I remember going to the mat and I took my slippers off because Hawaiian people, we take our slippers off. Didn't you notice in LA, when I went on the mat, I didn't have no slippers on.
Absolutely.
Everybody had slippers, except me and my niece, because we was raising them. So she took me all over. I went to all these different vending, and I was only 26 years old. So she took me all over, and I took off my slippers, colored bug, what we say. She goes, it's okay, cuz you can leave it on. I said, no. So I took it off. So she took me all these different places. Then my cousin Ed Parker Sr. gave me the book. I think it was Elvis and Me. There's a book called Elvis and Me. So he autographed it, gave it to me. I felt so, I felt like a queen. So I talked to Professor Joe Habuna. I go, look what my cousin gave me. Da, 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 da. I was so excited. Picture the. He said, you know what? He goes, Kai, you are so blessed. I was a seafood. I was a seafood, SIFU. I was a third-degree black belt. He said, you are so blessed. Because you know, Mr. Parker, when he find out you're Ohana, that's it. He treated me like a queen. Sherry treated me like a queen. So what happened was that book that he autographed there, I was so busy, kind of distracted because of it was a big tournament. I never been to a big tournament like that at internationals. So I put the book down. I put the book down. Guess what? I went back for the book. It was gone.
Really?
The book was gone. So guess what? I felt so. I felt really unresponsible because I put the book down. I went back. It was gone. The book was gone. So guess what? This is how I got put with Ed Parker Jr. Watch this. So there's a girl who I know in Kajukenbo. So we're talking, and then she said, "Oh, I heard you're related to Parker." I said, "Oh yeah, that's my Omano." And then she goes, "Well, I know Edmund Jr. I never met Edmund. Never met Edmund. We're same age, okay?" She goes, "You know what? I will try to get that book for you." I said, "Okay." I wasn't a guarantee. You know, I didn't get, well, I wasn't saved either. I didn't know Jesus that time. So one day she calls me, she said, guess what? Sifu, he wants to meet you. I go, really? Now, Ed Parker Sr. was already gone. He already passed away. I said, okay. I said, I'm down. I want to meet him because he's my Ohana. Okay. Guess what? Went to the international. I forgot what year it was. And Edmund told her that he's going to meet me at the bar. So there's a bar that I went to in the restaurant.
Right.
And all of a sudden, so I'm sitting there, you know, waiting for him. He comes in, okay? I just tell the story to Edmund. He comes in, all these people. I say, hey, Mr. Parker, you know, honoring him, shaking his hand, you know, because he's Mr. Parker Jr., right? And they all ask him for his autograph. They all want to take pictures. So he goes like this to them now. He said, you know what? I'm here to meet my family. She's my cousin. So you know what? Let's do this later. Okay, so they didn't know what to do. It was like a shock that he said that. I felt really bad. So he said, come, cousin, go with us. So I went over there. We sat in the bar. And then we just talk. And then guess what? He bust out the book. He bust out that book I lost. And he
Found
autographed
it, huh?
Yeah, Edmund gave me the book. Yeah, he gave me the book. So
Wow.
that was it. Ever since we got put together from the book brought us together. Because if I didn't tell my sister about the book, I don't think I would have met Edmund, to be honest. So that book brought us together. That book bonded us. And that was it. Ever since that, I've been close to Edmund. He came to Maui because his daughters live here. I didn't know that. He goes, cuz. He calls me cuz. He goes, cuz. My daughters live there. I go, what? He goes, yes. So you're telling me with it. Guess what? I was going to one of my auntie's house. They live right next door. Paul, I met his daughter that lived next door to my auntie. That's how small Hawaii is. And then he came over.
Or to be answered, that's how big the Hawaiian families are.
That's why I don't know what Hawaiian is. Paul, I do not know what Hawaiian is. I do not. So I go over there. So he comes to Hawaii and he's across the street by the airport. And I hear somebody go, that's Hawaiian call. That's like a call that we do. So I'm looking, because I went there to meet him at the airport, because I work at the airport. So I'm looking, who the heck is calling me? Come to find out, guess what? Edmund is across the street in shorts, white legs. I mean, it was like flashing on me, like, oh, I had to put my glasses on. And then after that, that was it. Got put together. I joined him, his ex-wife, Sylvia, and then I got to meet the son. I got to meet the daughter. I went to his condo. They cooked dinner. We got to balao, kuka means talk start. And ever since that, ever since the book, me and Edmund has been inseparable.
Wow.
Unbelievable. So I'm in LA. Guess what? So I ended up talking to him, right? He's right? Remember you called him? He goes, come, guess what? I go, what? He go, I don't do portraits no more. I said, no. No. Because he did a portrait for my cousin.
Right.
My cousin, famous entertainer, famous. My cousin played with B.B. King, George Benson, Fleetwood Mac, Steve Tyler, big people. So he goes, cause I gotta do a portrait of your cousin when it came. He did it. Amazing. He gave me like 10 copies. Okay. So they found out that I lost my brother. He said, cuz, send me some pictures of your brother. And I said, okay. And he said, I don't do portraits. I said, no, I didn't know that. I thought he was still doing it, right? So anyway, when I saw you and when we were talking on the phone, he said, cuz, I'm sending you a portrait of your brother that I did. I think he said in 2 days. In 2 days.
He's an amazing, talented man.
He is. I seen his artwork. I know how much it costs.
It costs a lot of money.
And I said, Edmund, you're done. You're retired, because he's doing his book and he's doing
he's doing everything else, yeah.
And you know what, Edmund? I go like this. That's family. That's ohana when you do something like that. So go ahead.
So, Grandmaster Kai, and I had the great pleasure on the 85th birthday celebration in Los Angeles that was organized by the daughters, and they were all there. Let's see, Darlene was there, Yvonne, Beth, and Sherry. And when I got there, we paid tribute to Mr. Parker, and I brought with me, which you'll get to see when I see you next time, is my own ukulele. Okay. And it's signed by all the girls.
Yeah, but who gave you that?
I had it.
Huh? No, I said, who gave you that?
That's me, baby. That's mine.
No, Grandmaster
I was ready to sing. I was ready to sing.
Okay,
I remember you long after this and the summer is gone. Yeah, that's it. Anyway, I'll continue. I'm not going to take up all that. That was me. And
you know what? You have the whole that ukulele, because I play ukulele. My mom is a famous entertainer. So, do you play ukulele?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I play about 5 or 6 different instruments. But I started to play it, as you can see, it was a tribute to Mr. Parker. I had this, and Beth came up to me and said, Paul, we would be honored. We would be honored. Instead, would you play our father's ukulele? And so, and he had one, and it was there. Now, I mind you, my string broke, so that's why I don't play it right now. But this is a 6-string tenor.
Yeah, it's a 6-string.
And this is identical to Mr. Parker's, and everything in the year and the wood. And this came right there, obviously. And but the only difference between mine and Mr. Parker's is that his tuning knobs are white. These are black. But otherwise, so they honored me by saying, would you please play our father's? And I got to tell you, it was magical sitting there playing the ukulele that was owned by Mr. Parker, and to sing a tribute to him of I'll Remember Your Kuali song, which was a classmate of his.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I while we were doing that, they had a video screen up there behind me, and it played the photos of the founding grandmaster and his life and his children and everything. And I sang live, I'll remember you, exactly to the time. I said, this is how long it takes me to sing the song at this tempo, you know. And I sang the whole song with a big, with modulation and everything.
You know what's so funny, Grandmaster Paul? That's my brother's song. We played that for him. Yeah, that song, I'll Remember You.
So
Yeah.
I will this year at the Kempo Karate Hall of Fame, I'll have that ukulele with me with new strings on it.
So what, you're gonna play it?
I'm gonna play it, and if you're there, you can dance to it.
You know what? If you play it, I'll dance it.
Wouldn't that be beautiful?
That'd be awesome.
Oh, that would be off the charts. So anyway, I just wanted to share that to you. It's like I said, it's all recorded by it's all signed by the girls and everything. And I like I said, I asked him to do that for me because it was very special. He was very special to me. He's a beautiful human being, and so I'm so glad that you reunited with him and with Edmund. And like I said, Edmund is a wonderful person. What can I say? Just a good person. I didn't mean to touch your heart with that. I can tell you moved a little bit by this. I can see it. It's all right. We'll share more. So, do you need a minute?
No, for what?
I don't know. Just to
I'm
gather
on
your.
fire.
I can tell. I can tell you're all excited.
The church.
Yes.
Anytime I'm at church, I'm on fire.
Go ahead. What were we gonna say?
Don't be too much fun. Okay. The most important people in the Kajukenbo world, besides the founders, was Joe Imperato. Joe Imperato is Cedro Imperato's brother. Cedro lost his brother. Okay. He lost his brother. His brother got stabbed, and he died at a nightclub. Well, guess what? His daughter, Joe Imperato's daughter, live in Maui. So I'm very, very close to her. Guess what? She does all of my gigs.
Why don't you explain? Why don't you share that with those that don't understand? It's so festive looking. It's beautiful. The trim, actually, I think they have at Michael Matsuda's the Martial Arts Museum, which is in California, Burbank. It's going to be in Glendale soon. I believe they have one of Cedro Imperato's uniforms there on display, and the beautiful trim that you have on this area here. You can see that there. And can you tell us a little bit about that? You also have it on the sleeves.
Okay, Cedro's gi, when he died, I had his gi and his belt. I had everything. Okay, and then but Cedro's gi is not like mine. Cedro's gi is like yours.
Okay.
So I'm letting you know, if you want to know anything about Cedro, you can ask me, because I knew Cedro the last living of his day. Because when he passed away, there's a lot of hakaka. That means a lot of politics. You know, same like Ed Parker Sr. Same thing. Like when people die, oh, Cedro gave me this. Oh, Cedro said this. You know what? That's why Sipo L.D. Costco's want me to do a talk with him to talk the truth about Cedro. So when people lie about Cedro, I'm going to be honest. That is not right, and that is heva. Heva means not right, not porno. It's like if I die and somebody said, well, I took underneath Grandmaster Kailani core and, I traveled with her, and that's not true. So we call that heva. So that's why Sipo, well, he's really Grandmaster. Grandmaster L.D. Costco said, Kai, you took care of Cedro, you traveled with him, you did his funeral, you buried him, just everything. And I want to do a book with you of the last thing about Cedro Imperado. You know what I'll do it, because there's too much people lying out there. I don't like that. That's to me, that's heaven. If somebody talks about you and they tell me something that I feel it, I just feel in my na'au means my inside, that it's not porno. You know what? I'll go see your wife, or I'll go see your kids, because that's not right. So there is a lot of hakaka. There is a lot of how would I say, there's a lot of hakaka. That's what I should say. A lot of pilikia. Because when Mr. Parker died, and I think you know this, because I I know because my cousin Ed Parker Jr. You know what? We all go through that. But guess what? I don't like when people lie about CJ Parada. And I
I
wouldn't
remember
want.
clearly. I remember the last conversation I had with uh, Mr. Parker. It was at the Internationals on a Friday, August the 3rd, and I went to see him at the Vagabond, and I went into his hotel room there, and all they had black belts were in there. We're going to run the tournament, and Dr. Ron Chappelle was at the door, and Trejo had told me, Frank Trejo, that is, told me go say hello to Mr. Parker. So I went in, knocked on the door. They brought me in, and I saw Mr. Parker, and he was sitting in the chair with his head down. And you know that these events are very tedious and draining. He was tired. And long story short, he sat there, and Ron says, "Oh, Mr. Parker, Paul Casey's here." He bumped up. He goes, Paul, like the prodigal son returning. I walked in. He goes, "Everybody, out, out, out. I want to talk to Paul." And they're all looking like, "Well, who's Paul Casey?" Well, I mean, uh, Mr. Parker always treated me very, very well. He was, I always had the greatest respect for him, and I always called him Mr. Parker, even though he told me to call him Ed, and I wouldn't. And in that conversation for about 20 minutes, um, he asked me, "This is the beauty of the Hawaiian spirit that you possess." And that is why I gravitated just so quickly, because I could sense it. You're a very special lady. You walk with God. And there is a certain thing that the Hawaiians possess that are so great. They're not caught up in a lot of stuff that we are here on the mainland. And it's genuine. And Parker said to me, he said, "Paul, is there anything I can do for you?" And I told him, I said, "Mr. Parker." He goes, "Call me Ed." I said, "No, sir. You will always be Mr. Parker. Like how you respond with your teachers." And as you told me earlier. And I said, "You've done more for me than you ever know, sir." And he says, you guys, "You're going to compete. I know you'll win." And I was very lucky. He always made sure he handed me the trophies I won. He came over, "I want to make sure you would know that I got this." He did. And I was like shocked. And because he's running his thing, he doesn't have to do that stuff. And we're sitting there, and he says, "Well, when this is all over, I want you to come by the house and we're going to eat." Now, in the Hawaiian, that's a big thing,
Oh
especially
yeah,
that's,
I.
yeah, that's important, and he liked to eat, so we know that. So, but when I left, he didn't say come with anybody. He just said, "You come over to the house and we'll eat." And I asked Dr. Chappelle about this a couple years ago. I said, I walked away and I said, "Gee whiz," I realized about a couple hours later, I had to be in Japan and I was going to conflict. I wouldn't see him. So I thought, well, I'll see him when I get back in end of December. Well, Ed Parker passed away on December the 15th. So I never got to do that. And all I can say is Dr. Chappelle looked at and told me on the phone. He told me in person before, but he told me on the phone, reminded me. He said he had something he wanted to talk to you about. It was important. I don't know. But I say this much. I'm grateful because as far as I'm concerned, a lot of people get excited about certain martial artists because they're in the movies. People like Seagal or Jet Li or Van Damme. Bruce Lee is a good one, okay?
Yeah.
Ed Parker was all of those guys to me. That's how important Ed Parker was to me. And I felt very, very humbled by that man. So I can relate to what you're saying. I can feel it. I mean, you're a beautiful soul. So finish up with your uniform and tell us a little bit. I know you have the Hawaiian patch, the flag,
Okay.
and there's a few other things. Please share that with us.
Well, first of all, I'm really blessed that Jody Imperato, which is Joe Imperato, CJ's brother, the one who got stabbed and died, that taught all the Kajukenbo class. His daughter does this for me. Okay. Somebody saw it and she didn't know if she should do it or what, but it took her a long time. So this print means that I'm Hawaiian. I'm Hawaiian. This is Hawaiian. This is particular. Okay. The patch is Uncle Abe, my uncle, brother Abe. I represent him. And if it wasn't for in the back of my gi, if you can see that short.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Okay, so what happened was at the 50th anniversary of Kajukenbo, I went up there to represent Hawaii. Eric Lee, Grandmaster Eric Lee told me to go, and Grandmaster Clay Griffin. And they said, you know, Kai, you gotta come, you gotta represent Maui. That I went up there. Well, guess what? I won. And then Malia, Mark DeCosco's mom and Sipo L. DeCosco's ex-wife was there. They interviewed me, okay? And then Sijo. Now I haven't seen Sijo since I was 9 years old. So I'm standing in the front of Sijo. I'm just watching. I was, I think 34, 35 years old. And I'm just standing here. Guess what? Sijo goes, hey, who brought Abe to you? Because he lived with Uncle Abe, right? Now, the last time I saw CJ, I was 9 years old. They go, who brought Abe to you? I said, that's my uncle. That's my grandmaster. I trained with him and I lived with him on the weekends. He go, oh man, you know, he was my. So he started talking about Uncle Abe. I told Sijo, I remember you when you asked my uncle for kala money. I went right after him. He goes, really? I said, yes. You sat at the dinner table and he was asking my uncle for money. And I was saying to my auntie, who is this guy asking my uncle for money? And then my auntie went, kuli kuli wa. That was me, that little girl. So anyway, so this patch is of my uncle, Master Brother Abe Kamaho. He was the first 9th degree in Kajukenbo. And Parker Sr. knows that. Okay. Then the green leaves are for branches that is growing and growing and growing and growing. I have schools all over the world. Who would ever think a lady from Maui has schools all over the world? Okay. So that's what that's about, the growing. The club is for Sijo. It's for Sijo's 3 main clubs in Oahu that he opened up. The yellow is for Ali'i. Yellow, and Ed Parker Sr. knows this, is for Ali'i. Ali'i is only to have yellow and red. That's it. When you see a red or yellow, that means there's somebody. There's somebody. So my uncle was somebody. He was Sijo Emperato's first 9th degree black belt. So that's a yellow, and then has my uncle's name, Kamahoa, who's also related to Grandmaster Ed Parker Sr. And then it says over here, Hawaii self-defense. All these little dots are all the 8 islands of Hawaii. Okay, so you see Master, Brother Abe, Kamahoa. They called my uncle. Sijo Imperator called my uncle Master, Brother Abe. He didn't call him Professor. He didn't call him Grandmaster. He called him Master, Brother Abe. Then these patches, Hawaii patch. This is our British flag. Because all our kings and queens went to London or England to learn how to speak English. We spoke Hawaiian. So they would send all the kings and queens to London or to England to learn how to speak English. When I was little, I was forbidden to speak Olelo Hawaii. I used to get spankings. I got spankings. Really? I got spankings. My teacher would call me up and tell me to come over there, and she'd get the ruler and hit me so hard. I never will forget that. But now today, by the grace of God, my language is spoken all over the world. Olelo Hawaii. Olelo Hawaii. I'm so happy that I get to speak my language. How come Filipinos can speak their language? How come Spanish can? How come Japanese can? How come these other people can speak their language? But us Hawaiians, we were forbidden. We were forbidden. That's very helpful. It's not good. And then this is the seal of Hawaii. This is the seal of Hawaii. You see it?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, that's my brother's patches. And this is from the Board of Advisors, Kajukenbo, Sijo, BOA, Board of Advisors, certified self-defense institution. I'm certified that I am a Grandmaster Kajukenbo.
Wow, congratulations. And thank you for, I know that's not what you normally like to do, but I can tell, but it was so nice of you to share.
Sorry, Paul. Kajukenbo. And it is This is from Cedro. I was so much stupid Cedro. You wouldn't believe.
The only competition I have with you is a little. I competed 14 times at the internationals, and you get one of these every time. But this is my original that I left on here from my original uniform way back.
In Boston.
Uh-huh.
It's the first thing I asked them because I see all of them with that. I see plenty of people with that and Parker stuff. So guess what? I tell them, tell me your genealogy. Tell me who you are and where you come from. And I went like this to them, and you better know it. A lot of them never know. They only wear a patch.
Yeah.
But they don't. That's not porno.
No.
You have to know the patches you wear. If you don't know them, I put them on.
Yeah, sure.
That's how we think in Hawaii. I never put on a patch that I don't know. So guess what? When I taught in Boston, you know what Grandmaster Paul said? He goes, Kai, everybody said you was the best instructor. I said, yeah, mahalo kia pu. I thank God for that because you know what? I asked him, what is your genealogy? Who's your instructor? Who does your instructor come from? Who's this? There's a bloodline.
Sure.
And I told him, and I said, if you don't know, go find out. Because when I come next year to Boston, which I'm going in a week, I go, you better know.
Sure.
You better know. So
I've only had 3 instructors. The point is that when I say that, it's because all my conversations with Mr. Parker were lessons with Ed Parker. And you get more out of that because he loved to talk and discuss. I was on the mat with him for seminars and such. And that was an interesting experience only because I actually saw a lot of senior belts that really didn't know anything. They weren't knowing what he was talking about. They didn't understand it. It was the early stages, I guess, of his development of the Infinite Insights books, which came out in the 80s. And I just really, like I said, I'm Pasadena. Pasadena style, as Frank would say. That's where we came from, the original school. And it's a beautiful thing. Let's go with a couple more questions, and then I'll let you go because you don't want to spend the whole time in that beautiful weather of Hawaii, sitting there in a underneath the roof.
It's such a blessing to talk to you, because you know why? Now you know li'i.
Just a little bit. Yes, I do.
You don't know everything, but you know li'i of who I am.
Well,
So,
I think more importantly, I think our viewers are learning a little bit about you. What is your vision now for the Kajukenbo system? What do you think it's going? What would you like to see it to go for?
That's what I told Cedro Emperado before he passed away. Cedro, I cannot heal the pilikia and the hakaka that goes on in Kajukenbo and after your death. That I cannot heal, but God can. Because he was a believer. Cedro Emperado is a believer. We had so much Bible studies, like I would travel with him, teach like in Springfield, Massachusetts. He goes, where are you going? I said, I'm going to church. He goes, okay. And you come back and you tell me what the message is. Cedro Emperado knew Jesus. I'll be honest with you. I don't care what anybody say. Even so, he was a little a little kolohe, that means rascal. He knew the Lord. And I go, Cedro, I cannot stop the pilikia. I cannot stop the hakaka, which means the fighting. But this is what I can do. I can plant seeds of Kajukenbo all over the world. That is my vision and my promise I did to Cedro. I can't stop whoever hates whoever, but God can. But I will plant seeds. I have 3 schools in Maui, 2 in Molokai, 1 opening up in Lanai. I just opened up a school in Waianae. I've been very blessed in Vegas, in Arizona. I've been very blessed in my church, King's Cathedral Chapel. I've been very blessed that we have almost 700 extensions. I am so blessed that my pastor, Dr. James Morocco, and Pastor Queen Morocco, gives me the blessing of opening schools all over the world. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to all my churches and just opening up schools. Wherever God wants me to open, I'll open. And that's what my vision is for Kajukenbo. You cannot stop people when they talk about each other. You cannot stop people if they fight, but you can pray for them for healing, for compassion, just stuff like that. But I promise you, John Prada, I am from the island of Maui. I will plant seeds wherever of Kajukenbo, of wherever God opens to. That is my vision. What do you
You're
think about that?
amazing. I got to tell you, you're an amazing woman, and I'm very honored that you would take the time to sit here and talk with us. And I know a lot of people are going to be just intrigued. I will make sure that you folks that are watching this, make sure you go and visit Grandmaster Kai's pages. And if she is going to be in your city, go and support her. If she's not, why don't you request her and see if you can bring her in? Her ministry is so deep and so wide that she brings so much more to a seminars than most people would understand. And you can see the diversity and the complexity, yet the beauty of her Hawaiian roots are obviously there. So Grandmaster Kai, thank you so very much. You're amazing. Thank you so much for spending time with me.
You know how we say amazing? Eulelo Hawaii? Kupai.
No.
And you know what Kupai Anaha means? Amazing. You know what God told me? Wherever you travel, use the gifts I shared with you or given you. So guess what I do? I preach. You know how I preach? Can anybody name me one commandment? Nobody can. I'm like, really? Thou shalt not kill. That's one. Then number two, I teach Olelo Hawaii. I teach Hawaiian language. Yes or no? That's it. Then I teach Kajukenbo Hawaiian self-defense. And if they want, I teach a hula workshop. That's all my gifts.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you in Las Vegas. When that's gonna be great. We'll run that song down, and
We're gonna pray, I'll remember you.
I will do that for you. And with it'll be absolutely stunning. Thank you so much. I wish you a beautiful weekend. I look forward to seeing you and talking to you again. And we'll have to have you back because you're so entertaining too.
It's so good to see you. Thank you so much, Grandmaster Paul. You've been such a big blessing in my life. You don't even know. For you to just even have this interview, and for me to represent Cedro and Parado and all the Kajukenbo in the state of Hawaii. So I just thank you. Mahalo, mahalo.
Oh, thank you. Full salute. Full salute to you, sweetie. God bless you. All righty. All right. Have a beautiful day.
I will. It's my day off. I'm going to the beach.
Isn't that where you should be?